Happy birthday.
Can't hear you, Andy.
Oh, technology. I said, hello, welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. City are back. Good evening, Paddy. Good evening, Stan. And a happy 60th to Anne-Marie. Happy birthday, Anne-Marie.
Happy birthday. It's not quite my 60th.
No, so I needed to get you a gift for your birthday, Anne-Marie. So I don't know how I've done it. And good evening to everybody in the chat, by the way. I don't know if I've managed to, I nearly said pull this off then, but I'm amazed at myself sometimes. Anyway, I've got you a special mention from your favourite City player.
Hello, Anne-Marie. I just want to wish you a happy 60th birthday. I'm sorry I cannot be on your show tonight, but Andy got in touch with my agent to ask if I would do a personal message for you, which I would gladly do. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Anne-Marie. Happy birthday to you. I will always love you, Anne-Marie, and you now have my mobile number, so we can meet up in Manchester next time I am in Manchester. I love you, Anne-Marie. Have a special day. Love you always. Peace out.
I think that is an absolute well done, Riyadh. You know, considering he's been busy, you know, with his transfer and stuff like that, I think that's an amazing gesture from him. So happy birthday, Anne-Marie.
Thank you.
What's with the cigar, Anne-Marie?
Because I'm celebrating.
What are you celebrating? What are you celebrating, though?
The fucking top of the pops tonight.
I know. I'm not being funny, but you look like Jimmy Savile.
No more Mahrez.
Hang on, how can you say that now? Don't you feel guilty after that personalised message he sent you?
No.
So anyway, you know, again, happy birthday. Yeah, thank you everybody who's joined us in the chat. I'll just, you know, quickly squeeze. Happy birthday. What's this? What?
Thanks, Stacey.
Wow.
He'd have to take a ticket and join the queue. There's a few in front of him.
Yeah. Is that the queue waiting for Specsavers to open, Paddy, did you say? No, as always, I'm going to be nice to you tonight, Anne-Marie. So, yeah, let's kick off. City are back. Did everybody watch the match today?
I missed the first 15 minutes, but then I got a stream then.
I didn't get to see any of it, I have to be honest.
I don't blame you, because you've only been supporting him since 2008 anyway. So I thought it was absolutely a brilliant workout for us today. Yoko are actually 21 games into their season. They've been scoring loads of goals. They scored 3 against us today, but I thought our fitness levels was pretty good, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
Paddy?
The second half was a different game, wasn't it? I like that Oscar Bob. I know I've seen him play for the before, but he doesn't look out of place. He's comfortable on the ball, but I suppose that's the way they're all trained right through that EDS to do that, But I think the difference, the quality that came on in the second half definitely made a difference.
Yeah, like Anne-Marie, obviously you just said you didn't see the match. Oscar Bob played in the second half, and in one of my notes here, I put he did okay. Pep's come out after, and he's praised him highly. Says he can play in about 4 positions as well. But today it was sort of like a very mature performance from him. Now, considering that's his first action for us, that's high praise. That surely.
Oh, of course it is. And, I think it was a good start for us because we had a challenge because we were behind, weren't we? And
2-0.
Yeah, and Haaland seems to have started off again well this season. It's interesting to see that Walker was captain for the game today, seeing as we don't really know where we stand with him.
Is that a swan song and a gesture? I hope not.
Well, you just never know, do you? So we'll see. I think we need to see some. If we are going to be losing him, and as is reported, we've lost Mahrez as well. We do need to see some. I think we do need to see some transfer activity. It's been very quiet on our front, really.
Does that worry you though, Anne-Marie? It doesn't worry me at all.
No, it doesn't worry me because I believe that we've got the players that can come in. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see just a little bit of backup though, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I trust Pep. I think it was, obviously, it was quite obvious we made 10 substitutions at half time, didn't we? But that's what it served its purpose. The game, it got us up and running in our pre-season. Yeah,
Stan.
Yes, mate.
Let's start with it. Did you see the game, mate? Sorry, I can't remember.
Yeah, no, I did, mate.
Right. First, let's talk about the first half. I thought the keeper, Ortega, did very, very well because he came every opportunity. Listen, forget the third goal. That was a bit of a mix-up between him and Rico Luz, but I'm on about generally. First and foremost, me in the pre-season, it's for fitness. I don't really care about the results of them, being brutally honest. It's just about getting that, trying different formations, la-di-da-di-da, fitness. But Ortega, I thought he came off his line a lot very quickly. Distribution was very, very good. He impressed me there. A couple, and I've just made a couple of notes, and cherry pick any of them. Let's go first half. Phillips, I thought did okay, although he was getting a few pelters on Twitter. Palmer, I thought was arguably the player of the half. He had a great shot, some great dribbling skills. Akanji, not at his best, but I noticed he had an ice pack on his thigh, on the bench. I thought McAtee did okay, mate.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's the first half workout of the first match, and we're playing a team there that's played 21 games and they're doing very well in their league. So they're going to be miles ahead of us in terms of fitness and cohesion. I thought it's, and you go 2-0, that 2-0 down, that happens. He seems to be quite good at that, but then we find a way. It was good to see Alvarez. You know, he scored, he set one up. He was in there, he did his bit, and they obviously all knew they were all going to be playing half a game, and they just want to ease the way into it. I thought what Oscar Bob, yeah, he did do well, but I think he's more of a pet player, isn't he? That he can play in those multi positions, which is why we can keep the squad fairly small. You know, so if somebody can't play in one place, you know, he'll play Bernardo on the wing or he'll play him in the middle. And they'll move players around. I think that's why Carlos Borges went, because I thought Carlos Borges might have had a bit more time, but you know, he didn't get in there. But as for the match, there's not really a lot to get out of it, is there? Because it's just it's genuinely the warm up. You know, nobody got injured. That was important.
Well, it looked like Akanji had an ice pack on his thigh.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, nobody got a broken ACL, unfortunately. You know, like Merlin. Which, by the way, I'm sure we all wish him all the best.
Did you say unfortunately then? Do you mean fortunately?
No, unfortunately, like Merlin, who got the ACL.
Sorry, comma.
Yeah. Well, okay, Andy, full stop, capital letter, new sentence.
This is the new AI interactive show.
I'll dictate the answers for you now, Andy. But yeah, you know, it's. I'm sure we all wish Merlin all the best in the future, whatever he does, whether he comes back or decides to do something else.
Paddy, I missed this one in my notes, mate. Martin, good evening, Martin. Kovacic had a decent debut. I thought he did, and what I noticed a little bit today, well, not just me, as if it was just me noticed, but his forward passing, when he's getting hustled, he's very, very composed, isn't he? And I think he will be a feed as well for Haaland and Alvarez this season, because his passing is all right.
I had the very same thought. He put a ball through, and I thought, Jesus, if Haaland was on the end of that ball. I made a mental note of that myself. I thought, Jesus, when he's playing and he does that, because believe it or not, our players still don't do that for Haaland. If you watch Haaland, the runs he makes, and nobody picks him out. But I thought Kovacic did that very well today. And it was fairly obvious what he was doing.
You okay there, Stan? You okay, mate?
But the only danger I see with that is Pep telling them not to do that. Because Pep likes possession and low-risk passing. He doesn't like it.
I get that, mate, but it's clear that, and Daniel's quite rightly said there, Rodri's worth 300 million in his transfer market. He makes a massive difference. But Phillips improved absolutely spot on. Personally, I think people should give Calvin Phillips a fresh start. You know, like every player. I'll get on to Cancelo in a bit when we start talking about the second half. But Phillips in particular today, I thought he did okay. So for me, the ideal starting midfield, I'll just name two of it. I can see Rodri obviously being that linchpin there. But with what I've seen with Kovacic, a short little cameo today, I think he could fit in that little gundo with his passes.
Yeah, you could do. I like the way Philip closed that keeper down for the goal.
Yep.
I think his mindset's could be different this year anyway. He's had a year. I suppose we'll understand Phillips better when this documentary comes out, because at the end of the day, players are human beings.
It's out, mate.
Is it out? Is it?
Yeah, it was an hour one. I think it's on Amazon. You can catch it on. But Anne-Marie, with regards to, and again, I'll pick with Daniel's comment there about Rodri is worth 300 million. With Rodri, and anybody else, whether it's a Phillips, Kovacic, Rice, me, Paddy, you, whoever, you're always going to be comparing apples with oranges, aren't you? Because there's always going to be a chasm between the standard of Rodri and whoever is coming in. So,
absolutely.
I think we've got to realise that rather than just, be negative towards some of these players.
And that's a good point, Andy. It's a bit like, one of the standout midfielders for me with City would have always been De Jong. And then Fernandinho came in, and you're thinking, well, he's not a De Jong. And then he came in, and you're thinking, well, how do we play without him? And then Rodri's come in, and we're saying the same thing. And we've got to give. It seems to take whoever comes into that midfield role, it takes them at least one season to settle in. It always appears to have done that. So I'm confident that if we give Phillips a chance, he probably will come good. I'll be honest, he was never my first choice to be in that team, but we'll back him because I think he will come good, and he's making the right noises to suggest that he's got his head straight and is ready to do the business for us. And just so I need to say hello to my niece Cara, who's watching because she's impressed that her auntie has got, is on a YouTube channel.
I thought you was going to say she's in prison then. I was going to say, Astan got the equipment.
No, she's my favourite 12-year-old niece.
Well, thanks for joining us, Cara. And obviously we look after Anne-Marie on this channel. She's the glue what keeps us together, isn't she, Paddy?
She certainly is, and you better start being nice to her.
I always am.
You are not.
That's not. I resemble that accusation. Stan.
Yes, mate.
Second half, huge changes, weren't there? 10 changes. Listen, I think. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Cancelo. This is always going to be a little bit of a Marmite one, in it. Here's my stance on it, and the guys in the comments, I'd like you to feedback, your thoughts on this. This is my thoughts. My first choice, I don't want Cancelo anywhere near the club. That is my first choice.
Yeah.
My second thought about that, if Pep plays him, whatever's gone on internally is resolved.
Yeah.
I will back Pep and the club. I won't boo Cancelo, nor will I clap him. That is because it's the detriment of Manchester City if you start booing players, because that will filter through. Because what was evident for me today as well, after the final whistle, a lot of the City players went up to Cancelo, shaking his hand, giving him a hug and stuff like that, as if to say, welcome back to the fold. We'll start off with you, Stan. What's your stance on Cancelo?
It's that huge one, isn't it, of fans versus having to work with him. We don't have to work with him. We're going to have to trust the guys that are going to work with him will make the correct decision. Now, I never liked Tevez because I just don't think he was for City. And Mahrez doesn't like Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie doesn't like Mahrez. I don't understand why. Well, that's fair enough. And Anne-Marie will probably not understand why I don't like Tevez, which is fair enough. This is what these are the things we do as fans.
Absolutely, mate.
What you've got to do at the end of the day, though, is just going to trust the players that they're going to approach it in the right way, and they will do because they want to win things. Now, we're not privy to everything that went on with the Cancelo thing. We know Pep had to be ruthless, and we've all seen it at work sometimes. Somebody may have got a written warning, and we thought, well, that's a bit harsh, but you can't let that go because, somebody might start taking the mickey after. Mm-hmm. It's a really tricky one. And again, it's where we have to put the differences of being fans away from being employees and having work colleagues, because that's basically what he is, isn't he? And if they're happy with it, let it go. You don't have to applaud him. You don't have to cheer him. You don't have to. You shouldn't really want to boo him, but you shouldn't have to boo him.
Don't get me wrong. When he came back with Bayern, I get why everybody booed him. And if I was at that match, I'd have booed him myself because
that's fair enough.
Technically, he wasn't a City player. But listen, you tell me that nobody's made a mistake in their life, and I'll call him a liar because it's life, isn't it?
Of course it is. And things like this blow up every single day in every single workplace in Britain. It happens. And I'm sure he's got some mates still within the club, and I doubt nobody spoke to him. The big kicker for him is that he's come back and everyone's giving it the full bird about having done the treble. And he's not involved. He wasn't on the bus. He's not got any of that. He's got the little bit of walk of shame there that he's missed out on all that because he had a tantrum. We all have tantrums at work.
Yeah, I've heard Stan that, and I forgot to actually delve into it. So one of you or the guys in the chat might be able to help me out here. Like it was perceived that he would have got a Champions League medal, but he's not as far as I've heard, because you've got to be playing in the in the knockout stages.
No, well, he wasn't registered with us, was he? At the final, so he won't get
a Premier League medal.
He might get that, but he's got the treble, hasn't he? Yeah.
So So, Paddy, what's your stance on the old Cancelo thing, mate?
Look, footballers are fickle. The
fans are as well, mate.
I don't think that. I don't think there's going to be any kind of disharmony in that dressing room, because if Pep wants him there, the players will accept it. For me, no. But as you say, I'm not going to boo him, I'm not going to clap him. But his behaviour against us when he was playing for Bayern Munich was shocking.
It was, mate.
And how do you sit beside somebody? We're kind of black and white as fans in our thinking, but how do you actually sit beside somebody, having watched back that match and seen his antics?
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's nobody in that team's going to go against Pep. If Pep wants him there, he's going to be there.
Absolutely. Listen, he was just damn right petulant, wasn't he, Anne-Marie? Especially, laughing when Haaland missed that penalty and stuff like that. So I get the anger from City fans, and they don't want him anywhere near the club. As I say, I don't want him anywhere near the club. But if Pep's going to have him in his squad, listen, what's your stance on it?
I think I agree with everything you've already said.
As always, Cara, she always agrees with me.
But I think if he is going to stay around because they've sorted out all the differences, I actually think he owes the fans an apology. Mm-hmm. That's my honest opinion. It's not just a case of, you can't just come back into the fold and expect us to be all happy clappy that you're there. Because at the end of the day, we're paying to watch them play. And if he's going to spit his dummy out, what's to say he doesn't do it again this season if he doesn't get game time?
Mm-hmm. Totally get it. And for me, there's no right or wrong especially people's opinions anyway. There's never a right or a wrong opinion. But with this one, like I said, it's a bit marmitey, isn't it? People are willing to back Pep and the club, but not forgive Cancelo. And I get that balance.
I think it was probably quite a similar thing with Stan's favourite, Tevez. I think the fact that, allegedly he apologised and whatever else, came back and he did a job to help us win the league in the end. Mm-hmm. But for me, again, I wasn't going to be applauding him or cheering him on, because what he did was, totally disrespectful to the club and the supporters.
Yeah.
But I think it's two different eras. I don't think we needed Tevez back then. Like, if Tevez repeated that behaviour now, present day, he'd never see the inside of that club again. And the guy, I agree with Stan. I hate the sight of him. He should never have kicked the ball for Man City again. Cancelo's that bit different. He didn't really go on strike and refused to play and refused to come on. But like, the disrespect he showed. Maybe, as Anne-Marie says, maybe he needs to take out a full-page apology, apologise to fans for his behaviour and say, look, I'm sorry, it was out of order, and if you give me a chance, I'll win your hearts back. But if he was taking the advertisement out from me, I'd be telling him save the ink.
Yep. Well, I've put a YouTube poll there. Do you back Pep? If he keeps Cancelo. So let's see how that one goes there. Listen, it is what it is. At the end of the day, the most important thing is Manchester City. So so be it if Pep backs him. Before we move on, as I say, thanks for everybody who joins us week in, week out. What we've done now, we've opened the membership up now for people, and what we're going to do, we're going to start doing giveaways, whether it's things like mugs, I've got various things. We're going to start doing giveaways because we've always said, and the Anne-Marie, Paddy, and Stan will always tell you, my idea is always non-profit. I can afford to run this YouTube channel. I'm not one of these who's saying, oh, we need money to function and stuff like that. I've always said, whatever money we make through the channel or the social media, it's being pumped straight back into the channel for everybody to have giveaways and stuff like that. So yeah, fill your boots, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to become a member, great. Like as well, like the feeds, what we do, because the algorithms of YouTube, it generates us something that algorithms. Stan will go into algorithms a bit more. Tell us about algorithms, Stan.
They're just rubbish rhythms.
Yeah. So yeah, So
that's where we're at.
So I think it's pretty universal from us four in particular regarding Cancelo, isn't it? So there was a Pardo Oaks there. When do you expect Phillips to come good then? So again, it's only my opinion, you're comparing apples to oranges. Who would be good enough or better to come in than Calvin Phillips? Tell us, and that's not a double loaded question and stuff like that. I think you've got to give Phillips a chance. You're right there, Stan. Am I boring you?
No, I was just thinking there that we forget as well. Calvin Phillips was out injured up until about the Christmas one, eh? So I'd say give him up till Christmas, and then he's had a full year. But it's like, I think what you were going to say then, Andy. You've got to give him that. You've got to give him that chance. Get him in them cup games. Get him in some of them Champions League games that we should be okay in. Show him that we can back him, and then like we'll say, when you say when will he come good, what do you mean come good? Do you mean come good like Rodri? Because that's not going to happen. They're two different players. When and as Anne-Marie said earlier, when players move on, we didn't get Torre a replacement. We got a new player. When we got a Merlin player, we didn't get the Merlin replacement. We don't get a Kun replacement. We get players that can move things on. It'll say when De Bruyne goes, we won't get a new Kev De Bruyne. We'll get somebody who can play in a system that'll suit the team. At the end of the day, it's the team that matters.
Pretty much like Maris. I'll answer Pardo Oaks' question here, because it is directed at me. Why are you obsessed with Cancelo coming back to the club, Andy? I'm not. As I say, my first preference, pal, is he never kicks a ball for our club ever again. I'm quite open about that. But any player, what Pep brings in, I'm not a happy clapper. I've got my voice. I'll voice me objections and stuff like that on platforms like this, or whether it's Twitter and whatever social media. However, I won't, like I said, I won't boo, nor will I clap him or any player, because I've never booed a City player in my life. I've booed former City players like Milner and stuff like that, but while they're wearing the blue shirt, I won't boo them. But I'm not saying I'm right doing that. It is what it is, Anne-Marie.
Very true, Andy. I do vaguely remember being at a game, and I think it was Preston we were playing many years ago, and I think it was an away game, and all I did hear was, "You're not fit to wear the shirt." So it was as close as we got to booing the whole team that day. But as a rule, I would never do that. As much as a player I might dislike, I won't ever boo them. It's true, I won't.
What? I've not said a word.
It's the look on your face.
Seriously, I totally get it. HHJ, good evening, pal. He's kicked off with Pep. Can Pep let him back in the game, in the real game, or is he putting him in the shop window? Don't know. I think I didn't really want to talk too much about Cancelo, if I'm honest, but it's just like one question after a question, which is good, because people do want to talk about it. My opinion on that is, does it shop window? I don't think anybody doubts Cancelo's ability. I think it's more about his attitude. So it doesn't matter whether he plays well or not, or whether he's in a shop window. People will always question his attitude, won't they, Paddy?
Well, yes, his attitude stinks. You can look at that both ways, I suppose, in terms of he wants to play and he goes to huff if he doesn't play. But if we sign that fella from the Leipzig, the stand calls him Gaviscon, and Walker stays, where is he going to play?
Yeah. And it is going to be that same probably regurgitation of last year. But would he just knuckle down this time, knowing what the circus he left?
But Pep doesn't strike me as the forgiving type. I don't think Pep wants him there.
He don't have to play him though, and he didn't really have to take him to Asia, did he?
Well, if he's part of the squad, yeah.
Tell you what, though, he's a lovely ball for the fifth.
And I actually said that if that was De Bruyne who did that, people would be drooling over it. But I get why they won't drool over Cancelo, because it's Cancelo, and I do actually get that. Sean Boyle, I'll ask this universally to you: do you think Arsenal can challenge you next season? I think the Premier League is potentially going to be one of the best ever next season, because Arsenal have quite rightly dipped into the transfer market. Listen, forget the defeat to United last night. It's pre-season. It's all about fitness. La-di-da-di-da. I think up there next season, you're going to have Arsenal. I think Newcastle will still do well. United, Liverpool, and you'd always get another, whether that's a Spurs, under Pochettino, not Pochettino,
Gus, whatever his name is.
The guy from Celtic, Ange, innit? Ange. Yeah, he's highly regarded. So I think it could be potentially a blockbuster next year, Stan.
Yeah, Big Ange, he was Yokohama's manager, wasn't he, a couple of seasons ago before he went to Celtic. So we'll know him. He's been in our little system there. So we're having to help another North London team improve. We don't mind doing our bit to keep the Premier League competitive. I did see one in the Spanish press this morning, which is interesting. Apparently, Man United have put in 120 million euros plus 45 million for Mbappe. Now, if he turned up,
who?
Kylian Mbappe.
Mbappe, what do you get a sausage and bacon on it as well?
No, you get a free Henson record, so you can be singing Mbappe all day.
Yes, it's Bap and Gaviscon now. Sweet Jesus.
I tell you what, if you had one of them baps, you wouldn't need Gaviscon.
You must be delighted. Oscar Bob's in the team. It's easy to say.
Yeah, so I do honestly think it could be a blockbuster, Paddy.
Yeah.
Who can you see as the main challenger?
For us this season, ourselves.
I get that.
I mean that, but if you listen to Diaz's interview there, what he gave, they enjoyed it for a couple of weeks afterwards. But if you follow the players like we all do on social media, Jesus, they were giving it socks trying to get fit. Pre-season players used to come back a stone and a half overweight. They don't do that anymore. You know, that was the whole idea of a pre-season, losing that bit of puppy fat and getting match fit. These boys are like machines now.
You have to, like you say, they have to come back fit now. It's none of this all running, you know, like years ago when I used to go and watch them train and running through Withenshaw Park and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know,
and they used to do the army assault courses and all that kind of stuff. The Marines used to do that. But Jack Lynch, I know the media goes after him because he's a soft target. He partied, and understandably so, and best of luck to him, he deserved it. But then after that, he was training in a 35-degree heat. Yeah,
he was. And Marie, who can you see the main challengers? Because these two have just dodged my question.
Well, I'll tell you now, it won't be Arsenal. I think Arsenal will be lucky to get top 4 this season.
Yeah, I think so.
That's my honest answer. I think they had a lot of luck along the way last season. And I don't believe they got the strength and depth to cope with the Champions League and the league and all the cup competitions. You know, if you think they went out of all the cup competitions fairly early on. But I think Chelsea might surprise us a little bit.
It's their fan base, you know, because they'll be with the money what they spent, especially Declan Rice and stuff like that, and Timber, and other players. You know, they've probably still not finished spending yet. Their fans are going to be absolutely intense on their team next season, and if they don't start off well, I seen a meltdown from their pre-season last night, and it's absolutely laughable.
It's brilliant. I can't wait to see it. I put that up in our group a few days ago. I think Arsenal are going to struggle this year.
Yeah.
I think the one thing they've got in favour is they've got a decent start to the season, haven't they? The first 10 games aren't too bad.
Well, they've got to win them, though, haven't they?
Yeah, but they should do.
Should.
Yeah, well,
they should have beaten Notts Forest.
I know, but
at the end of the season, but they didn't.
I know, but I'm saying they should because I don't want to say, you know, you will because you don't know. It's football. Things happen. But those games they've got, you know, they should be looking at 22, 25 points easily for the first 10 games. If they've not got that, they might have
think of the pressure what's on them now. You know, bringing them players in. It's not as if it was last season where
they expected anything of them.
Where they just went on a crest of a wave last season, didn't they? Whereas now to challenge us, and I will say us because I still think we're the team to beat. I just think that they are under so much scrutiny now and stuff like that. Let's talk about, and I think this is a good one as well by Pardo Oaks. It sounds as if Bernardo is going to stay now. That's a positive. If his head is in the right place, Baldado now, you know, he's modelling himself on me now, Anne-Marie. Anyway, so if Bernardo stays, what does anybody know why he got subbed after half an hour in the second half today?
No idea.
It'd only been on for half.
Rumour has it he's bought Silva's old apartment.
Who?
Bernardo's bought David Silva's old apartment.
What did he have to go and sign contract?
The one David had in Barcelona. I'm only joking. So listen, if the rumours are true, and he is staying. Again, I've had a bit of a pop at Bernardo, for the way he's been this and that. However, he plays for us. It's as simple as that.
Please tell me Stan fell off his chair then.
No, I
Stan, you
didn't.
drinking?
No, I didn't. My thing fell. I'm still
You
here.
can't have that thing.
Where was it? Yeah, if Bernardo stays, it's a massive boost. And I know he's already our player, Paddy, but it would be like signing another player, because if he stays, regardless of whether he signs an extension or not, I don't believe he has signed an extension, I'll be honest. But he could have done. If he stays, we know his head's going to be on, rather than sulking, because he knows he
never sulked. He never sulked. He never come out directly and says that he wants to leave. I know his agent is a bit of a mouthpiece, like Yaya's agent was a mouthpiece, but he's never actually came out and say, I want to leave. He might have been saying it behind closed doors to Pep and say, look, I want to go. And realistically, we all know if Barcelona had the money to buy him, he'd have gone this season. But he's never, anytime he's crossed that white line, you can't not question that man's commitment.
No,
because he tackles and runs. Like, he marks 4 or 5 players.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, there's never been a problem with him, and there won't be a problem in this season if he stays.
I do totally agree. And as I say, I've had a little bit of a dig at him, Stan, but it would be a huge boost for us, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That centre midfield, the way things are now, with your 6s and your 8s when you're playing, I think that's possibly why Arsenal struggle, because they've had their big changes in the engine room. If we only change one in there, it'd be okay. But when we've lost Gundogan, I wouldn't want to be losing any more in such a crucial part of the pitch. And if we can keep Bernardo, then it's a big plus. No doubt about that. I did hear, though, Anne-Marie, that he had to go off half an hour in because he had to sign contracts for that new flat. The estate agent couldn't hang on any longer. So he's had to take him off.
No, Anne-Marie, it just would be a huge boost, wouldn't it?
Well, I've said it all along. I've defended him all along. I love Bernardo. There isn't very few players play the way he plays, and that's giving everything. I'll be delighted if he stays.
Yeah, I think regarding that, you pretty much echo that, don't you, Paddy? About if Cancelo, does stay, he does need to apologise, and I think that's crucial. Listen, as I say, everybody's done wrong things in their life. It's just that they're magnified, God knows how many times, because of the profession they're in, and especially what club that he is at.
Well, I think, look, it's down to each individual fan. I don't know. He's done for me, and it's very hard to come back to him. And when you get to that point, what he did, like, fair enough. If he had a fallout with Pep and he went and he played for somebody else, and he came back then for the pre-season. But it's what he did when he went there. Like, how's Haaland supposed to speak to him? Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm too black and white when it comes to things like that.
No, and it is. To be fair, mate, it is a good point, because if there was a slight bit of petulance again from him, even if he makes peace, let's say peace with the squad and Pep and so on and so forth. If Cancelo had a little bit of petulance in whether it's training or not, that little wound would open massively, wouldn't it? It would be a massive wound. Everything would just come back out again, surely.
Yeah. If it is scabbed over and he starts to pick at that scab, that'll be up to Pep to say, look, sit in your apartment and don't come near this place. Don't let that rot into that team, because you don't want because players take sides. So you'll have half the dressing room that'll go with them, and you'll have half that'll go against them. And then you're going to have friction. And we've never had that. You can see that in the players. There's a togetherness in that team that's second to none. So if there's somebody's has the potential to fracture that, you need to cut them out the cancer, get rid of them.
So let's answer Ryan Mitchell's question. He's obviously not a City fan. When do you think Man City will be punished for cheating? The first part of that, it's not been proven. United have actually been fine, so United have actually been proven to be cheating. Or have we paid enough in backhanders to avoid it? When you say we, obviously it's not you. I hope we have paid enough backhanders, because it's quite clear that other clubs cheat. So yeah, skedaddle, Ryan.
I tell you, the best thing in all, like they pay hundreds of millions for their own academy products, and they've been doing. I mean, well, we know they've been cheating since, what was it, 1915, and the first thing they've won in about 15 years is tainted the League Cup win. So that's Man United for you, isn't it?
Well, what are the opposition's fans mad at? Are they just mad that we're able to cheat better, that we're better at it?
We seem to be better at everything, Paddy.
Exactly.
It just got me that when that news broke about them, getting fined for financial fair play, why it wasn't headline news every hour on Sky News. We
heard minor breach. Listen, that's like saying you deliberately go to run somebody over, or you'd actually act,
you're half pregnant.
Yeah, you're half pregnant. Yeah. Who, me?
Well,
no, he just looks at.
The other one that made me laugh, and this come from the evening news. This come from the evening news the other day when they said about
birthday or not.
Put her back.
This made me laugh about the evening news about Pep's secret cheat code, and then they started banging on about the 200 million quid's worth of sales we've had from the academy. That's not a cheat code. That's a well-run club. If we can produce players that don't quite make it for us, but then can go on to play for the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, Liverpool, if they sign Lavia, then whose that fault? It's nobody's fault. It's just a very well club.
Speaking of Manchester Evening News, mate, condolences to Paul Hinds as well, who passed away. I think it was yesterday. Former City player, but what an absolutely great journalist. I met Hinds a few times at various functions. What a top bloke he was. So yeah, condolences to his family there.
Yeah, he's probably about the only one that you'd bother reading on the Man United Evening News.
Yeah, I don't read it. Because they're not fair. But people start all about that EDS. Go back to when the EDS was first built, and go back to what your man Serrano said. They'll bring the players through. They'll put them through college, private education. Even if they don't make it in the game, we make sure they have an education. They make a living for themselves in life. But their main thing was they copied the Barcelona model, where Barcelona were doing that for years. That conveyor belt of kids out the other teams and getting 10, 15 million, 20 million a year. Sell enough of them, and you'll get 100 million, and then you can buy a star yourself. It's not new, and it's not news that we copied the Barcelona model, because when it first came, to delight what we were doing, they actually said that we're going to copy the Barcelona model, and that's exactly what we're doing, and we're making a mint.
That brings us nicely to what Georgia. Good evening, Georgia. Super Callum Doyle, and that is just a perfect example of one of our kids. And I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. For me, a successful academy is if a player comes through, there's no better pride, no better feeling, i.e. your Fodens, etc. But if they're not quite at the, dare I say, it's I don't wish this to sound arrogant or so, if they're not quite at the Manchester City level, but they go on to make an absolutely brilliant career, for themselves, whether it's Leicester, Southampton, wherever, and we get a few quid in the bank, I class that as a successful academy. because unfortunately, not every kid's going to make it.
Correct.
Your man Joyce Airspan left today, didn't he?
I'm not sure, mate. But let's chat a little bit. Let's chat a little bit about the players. What some fans are split about McAtee coming back, Oscar Bob coming in, Borges, and players like that, and Cole Palmer. Rumours are Cole Palmer, and I told you what about a month ago that Brighton were potentially in for Cole Palmer. I think that would be a good move for Cole Palmer. However, I wouldn't want it to be on a permanent one, Anne-Marie, because...
No, just a loan deal. That's all I'd want to be seeing, because I think he has the makings of being an excellent player for us. I think he needs confidence and not to feel overawed in the team that he's playing in, which I think at times when he's played in the first team, he probably has felt a bit overawed. But I think we need to give him a chance because I think he has got the makings of being a brilliant player.
Yeah, I totally agree because, as you know, I go on Martin's show, Mancunian Way and stuff like that. And Martin, occasionally comes on ours. And I gauge some, and a lot of the guys in the chat, they've probably heard this, on the shows we've done. It's okay us having like a production machine of all these kids coming through, but there's got to be a point where we've got to give them a go. And I'm glad to see Oscar Bob has been... What are you smiling at?
I'm just looking at one of the comments on the bottom.
On your bottom?
Yes, on my bottom.
Yeah, I just... There's got to be a point where, okay, it didn't quite work out for Cole last season with us for one reason or another, whether it was lack of minutes or whatever. A loan period for next season, I think will do him a world of good, Stan, and his direct replacement is McAtee, who's had now a season in grown-up football in the Championship, because it's not an easy league, that, despite it's a tough old league. I don't think McAtee will expect to play 40 matches. I think he'd be happy with 10, 15 matches because he'll get more space in the Premier League playing for City than he would for any other, because we're a possession-based team.
I think he will. He's come on a treat. You're right about the Championship being difficult. Both him and Doyle found it hard the first couple of months. I've got a friend who's a Sheffield United fan, and he was feeding me back saying that he wasn't so sure at first, but come the end of the season, there was absolutely no doubt both of them had the quality. They were very, very good players. I do think Palmer does have that little bit of a problem of thinking, I shouldn't be here. What is it? What did they call it? Imposter syndrome.
Who's what? Sorry, mate. I just was reading that comment and saying that was Anne-Marie.
I was going to, I'm laughing because I do sit in the Colin Bell stand. But it wasn't me, I promise.
But you're right in what you're saying, Stan. He come out and says that himself, that he did struggle to...
Yeah. Maybe that will help him, because it's done the world of good for McAtee and it's done the door. The problem is, we've always had it here that, once you go on loan, that's it, you're not coming back. Not sure if that's true, but we'll find out. Well,
very true.
I mean, it's the problem, innit, of having Pep as manager. If you try to predict what we're going to be doing, you're just going to end up with egg on your face all the time. He just seems to do what he wants when he wants.
Yeah. He doesn't.
Yeah. I just think it's time for Cole just to go and sample football for a full season, and there'd be no better club than Brighton, in my honest opinion, because they've got the right. What's she laughing at again?
I'm laughing at Alec Johnson's comment.
That one?
No, not the Cancelo knuckles down one.
Yeah, thanks, Leonard. That's 21st. True. Yeah, thanks, Leonard. Yeah. Like the channel and stuff like that, and subscribe, because it does help the channel. As I say, it helps us do the giveaways, which we've started doing. By the way, beyond belief, I'm not sure whether you're in the chat, mate. You actually won the mug last week, and get in touch with us because I want to send that mug out to you. The 115 charges mug, limited edition. Do you know why they're limited? Because I make them, so I know they're limited. So
and going back to Palmer, what do you want Palmer to go for? Do you not think he's good enough for that team, for our team?
No, I just think he needs minutes.
He does. He needs minutes, and it is. And I always say we're sort of like victims of our own success because, like I mean, this can be said for Gomez. I thought Gomez played all right as well today. By the way, Gomez, Phillips, Palmer. It's no good them coming on every 3 or 4 weeks for 3 or 4 minutes. That's no good for them. They need minutes. Yeah, if they perform better in training, etc., they'd get more minutes. But it's a bit of a vicious circle, and it's them where they need to.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Gomez there because I wanted to say about with Mahrez leaving, as the door closes for Mahrez, one may open for Sergio Gomez because that is where he actually plays. He's not a left back at all. He is an attacking wide man, and he did very well for Spain, where Cole Palmer did very well. In the recent tournament. So they're at that point in their lives now where they do need those minutes, and they need them minutes at a highest level that they can play. Unfortunately, at this moment, it's not quite Man City. But the same with Romeo Lavella. He's interested in Arsenal. He's interested in Liverpool. I don't think City had any doubts that he wouldn't make it when they let him go. But what are you going to do? Put him in place of Rodri? It's not going to happen, is it?
That's a great point there. A great point there from Alec as well, Paddy. David Silva's retired at the age of 37 because he's got an ACL. What an absolute joy to watch! And yeah, he's obviously past his best at 37, but he's one of them players who could have probably gone on in La Liga till he's 40, couldn't
he? You wouldn't have got the ball off him at 37.
No.
You probably wouldn't get the ball off him at 47. He was one in the lifetime, wasn't it? Really, he was just like you could 5, 6, 7 moves ahead at all times. He knew exactly what he was doing before the ball even came to him. You can't teach that.
Some of it, that's a good. Yeah, it's probably. What a player Anne-Marie. He's just like, for me, between I can't split Aguero and David Silva. I'm not even going to bring De Bruyne into that conversation because De Bruyne is still playing for us. I like to remember players and sort of like not judge them in a bad way after they've retired or at least
But you've just named 2 players there that are without shadow of a doubt true legends.
Mm-hmm.
At no point did they ever slag off the club in public, or were they in the papers for doing things they shouldn't be doing. They got on with their everyday lives. Nobody knew what was going on with them. Nobody saw them out and about. And between the 2 of them, there is very, very little to choose between who was the better player. You watch. There's been a couple of videos I've watched this week of just some of the
on any particular channel.
Talking of being no problem whatsoever and never being in the press, so was Mahrez, but that wasn't enough for some people.
Yeah, but those 2 worked harder than Mahrez. But
did they win as many leagues as him?
To be fair, Mahrez works harder than you, so should we start getting you evicted?
And did he win as many leagues as Mahrez?
I feel like it. But just watching some videos this week of Silva's passing.
What's he doing here?
He's been an absolute dipstick.
I think he's letting us get on with it.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to, discuss it.
But some of Silva's passing was absolutely
It's
sublime.
what he does best, though, isn't it? Oh, yeah, he's back now. Now we know. Now that we know he's been the dipstick, he's back.
Yeah, it's like Charlie said that Pep said he wanted to give Peroni a chance, but every player, Paddy, has got to do it first and foremost on merit. It doesn't matter, and I've said this, and I think you may sort of get it. If Alvarez comes in next season and smashes the goals in, and Haaland's on the bench, good, because it means healthy competition. As well as healthy competition, it means we're doing well. So, if any player, not just Peroni or anyone like that, to be fair, I didn't really see a lot of him today because he only came on, didn't he, for Silva after 30 minutes in the second half. So, I won't judge any player, especially on pre-season anyway. Like I said before, because it's just about fitness. But every player, no matter who they are, even Rodri, they've got to compete to get in that team, and they will only get in that team on merit. Pep's proven that over the years he's been with us.
I'd make an exception for Rodri. I'd say Rodri could do whatever he wants and Pep will play him. Like what he did, what he did in that second half today was he's just on a different level. There'll never be another Rodri. You could buy 10 midfielders and they're not going to match up to Rodri. He just dictates the game. He controls the game. He sees danger. He closes it off. He's an absolute dream. Like I know Haaland scores the goals, but Rodri does some work in the middle of that park.
It does, and it's one of them. We don't want him playing 60 games next season, so that's where the likes of Calvin has to step up. That's where Kovacic has to step up. We can't just pinpoint one player when Rodri's out for whatever reason, God forbid injury or whether it's a cup game or anything like that. We've got to have the adequate, replacement. And today I thought Stonesy did well in midfield today as well. Great goal as well, a striker's goal.
I think, time will tell me, Phillips. For this season, like Stan said, by Christmas he'd be there 12 months or such. If you judge Phillips at Leeds, he wasn't a bad player.
Sorry, Paddy, I'm not laughing at what you said. Stan, as your dongle drops out.
You what, mate?
As your dongle drops out.
I tell you, don't be saying that. My stomach's upset enough as it is.
Too much info. Before I forget as well, tomorrow night we've got a special show on as well. We've got the City correspondent Mike Miney going to be joining us tomorrow night. I'll set the feed up and everything like that later on after the show. But yeah, Mike, we'll be chatting pretty much about whether it's transfers, how the media works, and stuff like that. It'll be a great insight for everybody to, have a better idea of how the media work, and especially it being a City correspondent as well. So yeah, Mike will be joining us tomorrow night. Looking forward to that one. Actually, it's always good to have a guest on, Stan.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Man of many words.
There's not going to be much activity.
It's what, mate?
Didn't Pep at his interview? He says there's not going to be much activity, either in or out.
Would you be happy with if we start the season with what we've got now?
Absolutely, 100%.
Tell you what, was it Mark Minay that said that Gvardiol hasn't signed, despite what Fab Romano said?
Say that again, mate.
What do you think's happened with Gaviston? Mark Minay said that he wasn't coming, and Fabrizio Romano said he is coming. I think he is coming. I just think that Leipzig needs to get their transfers in lined up before they'll let him go.
They've already done their transfer business, mate. They brought in I think the only person who could force this transfer now is Gavidol, if I'm being totally honest.
Be an interesting one.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Because as I say, the players have been brought in for his replacement. I don't think City will get stung in the. I know we pull out of deals if we don't think it's right. I think putting one bid in for Declan Rice and it gets rejected, and then we didn't follow that up. I think that speaks volumes that it wasn't a necessity. But I think Gvardiol is, because although Laporte did okay today, he's not going to get much game time next season. Because I thought Aki played
no talk of him going anywhere yet, is there?
That's because of his wages and stuff like that. He pretty much said his goodbyes on his socials, didn't he, a couple of months ago, Laporte. So listen, if he stays, I've not got a problem with him staying. But I just want him to knuckle down and have that fight and desire what Aki had when Aki got into the team. That's all I ask from any player.
But what about if your man comes in then, Gvardiol? That's going to upset the apple cart at the back, because you're going to have him, you're going to have Aki, you're going to have Laporte, Stones, Diaz, Cancelo, Lewis, Walker. They all can play.
Yeah, I was just reading a comment there. But also something what you've just said there, Paddy. Rico Lewis today. And I tweeted while the game was going on today. What an intelligent player Rico is, because he's not the finished article, and he does need, stepping into the team, i.e. Foden-esque, rather than just thrown in. He can play anywhere what Pep asks him, whether it's on the left, the right, the midfield. I thought he was superb today.
Yeah, and as Stan said about your man Oscar Bob. Same crack, 4 different positions, not a baller. The EDS is churning out fantastic players, probably because there's an Irishman in charge of them.
There's only 29 likes and 64 on the stream. Come on, guys, get the likes up. For that, I tell you what, like it, even if you don't like the channel or like us old fogies. Like it because it's Anne-Marie's birthday. Come on.
Exactly. Did you know that, Andy? There's an Irishman in charge of the EDS.
Yes, mate. There's a documentary what City have done. It's a 3 pint pints. Well, that's it. Probably make it more. Yeah, a three segment series. Part. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. But I'm not going to subscribe to City TV because I just think the content.
They put it up as well.
The documentaries and stuff are good. However, the stream. Where's Stan gone?
The
documentaries are good, but the streaming, what they do of matches, it's very, very poor. And I can see all the time that the frustration of people on Twitter, regarding City Plus.
Do you think he deserves a chance to be beside Pep as a promotion as an assistant manager?
Who's that? The Irish guy. If I'm totally honest, mate, I don't know too much about him, so I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh yeah," because of this, because of that. I don't know. There's probably people in the chat who know, more about him than certainly.
Trying to bring back somebody else that has been with him in the past.
Yeah,
he's won the league 3 times for the EDS, so he obviously knows what he's doing, and he's turning out players like Palmer, and he had Foden and Rico Lewis, Oscar Bob. Do
you not think he's the boss because everybody else has been took away? Everyone else has gone on and signed for somebody else, so he's just risen to the top.
The cream always rises to the top, mate. That's why me and you are on top of Paddy and Anne-Marie, as it were.
Do you want to rephrase that?
I just don't know how to rephrase it, if I'm being honest. Oh, man. I just think a quick overview. I just think it was a great performance today. You know, against great opposition, and there was a bit of a meltdown on Twitter as always at 2-0 down, but we did okay.
You were the ringleader.
Who?
You.
No, I'm not. I don't go overboard, nor am I a happy clapper. I'd like to think that I was going to say level-headed, but that's probably a bit wrong way to put it as well. So, Anne-Marie, have you had a nice birthday today, by the way?
I've had a lovely birthday.
City of one on your birthday.
Well, you know, it's good, but I've had a lovely birthday, thank you. And thank you for all my birthday wishes. Very kind of you all.
Yeah. Listen, we'll keep it as it is now, because I'm sure we can chat about stuff with Mike as well tomorrow. Glad you've had a lovely birthday. Our glue. Stan, thanks for joining us, mate. It's good to have you back. Good to have you back, mate.
It's nice to get in now and again.
Always a pleasure, Paddy. As you know that. And more importantly than us, the guys in chat. You know, thank you for joining us. The interaction, say Anne-Marie's birthday wishes and so on and so forth. Yeah, join us tomorrow, because it'll be a very, very good show. We'll be on air about 8 o'clock, and Mike will be joining us about 8:30 tomorrow night. So yeah, hopefully you'll tune in for that. Again, thanks for all the comments and stuff like that. Absolutely superb. And yeah, get those likes up, Blues, please, for Anne-Marie. Just get it up for Anne-Marie. You know, that's all we ask. Thanks for joining us, guys. And we'll do it again tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye now.